For me, a cane is more difficult because it's all wrist strength and it's very wobbly, and I'm pushing on it all the time. I like a staff or a walking stick that's taller and I'm pulling down on it, and so I can lean this way, and I'm using sort of my triceps, my arm, to hold the weight. If it's too tall, it gets in the way trying to hike, like that one would be. So if you're way up here, it's a little bit harder to work with. So it's always better to go with cutting your stick a little bit long, and then down the road you can decide whether you cut a few inches off the top or the bottom. If you use it like this one, where's my beavers? Oh, right in front of me. This one. When I started the Appalachian Trail, this stick was 17 feet tall. When I got to New Hampshire, it was they do wear a little bit at the bottom.
What was your trail name?
One leg.
One leg.
No. So where do you think we should? Right there? Okay. Could you come over here and hold that right there? Oh, thank you. I'll move my leg so I don't slip. Good job.
Perfect. Oh, that's great.
And is there a part of this that we can take off either end?
I like.
See how that?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a little tall.
Right. So do we want to take a little off the bottom? You can see how much do you think we should? Oh, okay. How much?
No, I like it. Like as you said.
Yeah.
Just underneath
You want
my
Like a brush.
chin.
just take a little off, and then you can.
Yeah.
It's very easy to cut, so we can cut it 3 times if you're not.
Yeah.
So where do you think?
Maybe start right there.
Okay. Sure. So if you want to, you can hold. Yeah.
This is the tooth stick.
Okay. Good. Excellent. Now we can save that because we might practice whittling on that, or if we want to have a design, there's some neat ideas I can show you.
Well, how long do you want yours, Sam?
Okay. And which part do you want to be on the ground? The thick part or the thin part, or do you the thick? Okay. So show me where you want to cut. Okay. So if you want to hold over here, you can help. That's good. Excellent. And that's your stick?
Yes. I think we're gonna use it like a
Crutch?
crutch. Put
Oh, that's fine.
Put
Yeah.
something, or even rope from there to there.
Maybe.
Okay.
Sun
Do
catcher.
you want to
maybe?
trim those off now and before, or do you want to just start peeling and whittling and?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you can decide later. Well, how about you? Do you want to?
Oh, look at this.
Go ahead.
That is way cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's been turned.
Yeah. That's from a line choking
And
it
one
out.
thing,
Like this one.
as we're carrying our sticks, we want to be careful how we swing them around. Outside, we have to be careful if we're not paying attention. We don't want to poke anybody. Inside, it's even more dangerous because we can hit the door or the window or a light bulb. So we just have to be careful about how we swing them around, especially the longer ones.
Right.
Okay. Let's go inside. We'll talk about different tools to take the bark off. And let's see, Richard, which one?
I've got 2.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. So bring them on in.
Yeah, I think they're probably.
Do you want to work on them there? Do you want to? Or we can cut them in.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Come on in.
Okay.
Get a little more light here. Oh, that's that side. Is there another? Oh. There are a lot of different ways to take the bark off. Oh, thank you. You can. You can do it. That's teamwork. Yay. There are a lot of different ways to take the bark off of the stick. And a lot of times if I'm just hiking or camping, I usually have a pocket knife. And if we have a small knife like this, I like to have something with a larger handle and a smaller blade, instead of a giant hunting knife with a small handle and a really long blade. They're good for hunting and cutting down trees and branches, and but a little harder to whittle with. So bigger handle, smaller blade. Some of my favorite knives for whittling spoons and things are these. Big handle, small blade. Really easy. You can get your hand around it. And the small blade you can control easily, and it doesn't get in your way. So it's certainly possible to whittle the bark off, and most of ours are pretty green. That one might be a little bit older, so usually the older the tree is, the harder it is to take the bark off. Unless it's really old and dead and it flakes off. And then we talked about that. Sometimes the branch is so dead that it's weak. So you just have to sort of experiment. And in the beginning, if I grab a dead stick, I try to break it intentionally, get an idea how strong it is, and then I can trust it. Another way, the knife is can do a lot of different things, but it's a little more dangerous to work with. So I have my favorite tool in the whole world. Is this. It's called a spoke shave, and it was used for shaving.
Spokes.
Spokes. Yeah, you've taken this class before. What kind of things have spokes?
I think wagons had spokes.
That's right. Usually people say bicycles, but bicycle spokes are usually metal, so it doesn't work with this part of the conversation. Wooden spokes for wagon wheels were usually shaped with a spoke shave. Spoke shave is really safe, easy to use. The blade is all contained in this frame, so you can't really hurt yourself too badly with it. It takes off very thin shavings. So we can put both hands on this, one over each side, and draw this toward ourselves. So then it gets a little difficult because how can I hold on to this and, that's not going to work. Maybe if I hold it with both my feet, do you think that'll work? Probably not too well. Or I could go like this. So we have another tool. This one. Oh, we can lay it on the ground. That's a good idea. This is a special holding tool called a shaving horse, because it looks kind of like a sawhorse. We sit on this, and this clamp, we can tighten and loosen with our feet. We can take this without swinging our stick into our neighbor. We can tuck it under there, put the part under our arm, and put both our feet on the pedal, and now it holds this, and we can very. Do you want to try that?
Yeah.
Come on over. And
Or you can use your hands.
so, here. Oh, sorry, I made a mess already. Have a seat there.
Slow, but works.
And your feet. Is that comfortable for your feet to reach? Do you want to raise the pedal up, or is it going to?
It's okay.
Are you right-handed or left-handed? Left. Okay. So let's put this on the right side. Tuck this under your arm. Hand on top there. And up there. Look at that. Have you done this before?
No.
Wow. So you keep pushing forward and,
You have to push down on it.
yep. Let's loosen up with your feet a little bit. Let's try it on this side. Maybe that'll work better. Okay, try that. Is that gonna hold better for you? Keep pushing with your feet. And then turn that right about there. There you go. So something, you gotta find an angle. There you go. Push with your feet. Let me adjust that for you. Pick your feet up for a sec. I'm gonna shorten this up. We can try this for a few minutes. If it doesn't work for you, we have other ways of trying this. But this, let's try it.
So
Put your feet on that and see. Is that gonna be easier to push? Okay, so try that.
Does peeling it make it last longer, or, you know, it just is set?
That's a good question. It can do a few different things. It makes it lighter.
Oh, sure.
It makes it dry quicker.
Okay.
If you want to leave the bark on, it'll take a really long time to dry. And sometimes what happens is the very ends of the piece will crack or check. And the piece will stay really green for green heavy. A lot of times the green pieces they're heavy to begin with and very flexible. And you'll notice over time, if you peel the bark off a stick like that, it might take 2 or 3 months for it to really dry. It'll be half the weight and become more stiff, less flexible, less rubbery. So it changes quite a bit. If you want to keep the bark on a stick intentionally, it's best to cut the sapling in the winter. When all the sap from the tree is down in the roots, then the bark is more likely to stay intact. I've read if you want to peel the bark off a tree, especially maples, if you harvest them in the spring when the sap is running and the cambium layer under the bark is really, really active and wet, they claim, which I disagree with, that it's as easy as peeling a banana.
In the spring?
Yeah. Which I would put in the category of old wives' tale.
Yeah, wouldn't the sap make it harder?
No, it's because the cambium layer of the sap flows is right under the bark and on the outside of the wood. When that's really moist and juicy, that's what separates, that's what gives way. When that layer is dried out, it's like glued, the bark is glued on. So there's like, probably in North Carolina, it's like hickory twig furniture is like a whole industry. And they want to keep the bark on, so they winter harvest all that. So are you asking because you like the bark? You want to keep the bark on?
No,
Or?
I just.
It is beautiful. You won't. So
I would want to take off some of it, I think, around.
yeah, it's up to you, and you can try these different tools and just smooth the outer part of it and leave some intact. It's whatever is comfortable to you. Do you want to try that shaving horse? And let's see, that might be.
Well, we'll come back to this in a minute. I'm just going to break, and then we'll probably show you at the final product in a little bit.
So let's
Okay.
see. This might be a little tall.